So it comes down to a lot of different things, right? Like, and here's the real truth, and this is going to be another eye-opener for people. This game's fucked when it comes to balance. It's never going to be... It will never... There's too many different types of style of heroes in this game. This game will never, ever, ever be able to be balanced again due to the heroes that exist. So that's why I made a tweet the other day. That, you know, if they're gonna... Basically, I said in the tweet that, like, I hate that there's not major changes every season. Now, if they increase the season by, like, an extra month, make it every 3 months for a season, that'd be cool, whatever, I don't care. But I feel like this is a game that just needs consistent shakeup. And you're gonna go, well, that, you know, that happens in X game and it sucks. And once again, comparing this game to a League of Legends or a Dota, we need hero bans. Once again, hero bans could help a little bit, but it's still gonna have a couple heroes in the game that are ridiculously strong, and the next thing you know, when it's happening is these heroes that you're banning, like, they're gonna, like, figure out ways to make it work. There's so much that's gonna happen with hero bans, right? Here's the thing, and I'm starting to realize this more and more, and maybe my opinions, I've become more opinionated on the game because I've been playing it for so fucking long now. Here's the thing about Overwatch in general, and this is just something I see. It's Overwatch. This is not League of Legends. This is not Dota 2. This is not TF2. This is not fucking any of these other games. They try to literally, like, compare why something won't work. This is a fucking completely different game. This is Overwatch. Which means that things need to be done differently than that type of stuff. I like the idea of role queue, I don't like the idea of what the meta is, right? But how do you change that? I don't know, make more consistent changes, I guess, and just... People are not playing your game a lot because it's not enjoyable. Believe it or not, guys, there was a season, you ready for this? Back in Overwatch where you could play three different team comps. And all of them were effective, and if you played one of them, you had a chance to win regardless. The only thing that changed it was the maps. So back in the day, back when Roadhog was still somewhat strong. What's my SR now? Hey, we're not masters yet. Perfect. All right. There was a meta back in the day where you could play triple tank, you could play dive, and you could play triple DPS. All three of the comps were super effective. It was all very... there was 3 different things you could play. You could play 3 different team comps. And then that's where everything started going south, where as a community, we really were bitching about every individual hero being super strong at lower levels. And when that started to happen, Blizzard was like, well, you're right. I noticed that you're frequently getting hooked out of position while running into the team behind them, and the Roadhog is hooking you. Let's nerf Roadhog to the point where he can't do anything against the dive meta, and then that's when we started with dive meta. Remember a year ago when everybody hated dive meta, and everybody's sitting here literally, you know, drawn. They have posters of dive meta now, and they literally have a shrine in their room to pray that one day we'll get dive meta back. That's what happens when you consistently complain about metas and all that stuff. Now you go, Emongg. Are you saying we shouldn't complain about metas? No, you should absolutely complain about metas, because obviously if something's unenjoyable to you, it's one of those things where people are going to say, like, Emongg, I noticed you've been a little bit more opinionated lately and complaining. It's really not complaining. It's more along the lines that I'm trying to be more vocal and try to be more of a voice about some of the problems with the game, because Overwatch is still a very beautiful game and a very enjoyable game, right? It's a game that is fun and enjoyable, and we all play Overwatch because, 1, we're stupid. I'm kidding about that. But 2, like, we do like Overwatch. The problem is we don't enjoy the experience. Now, the experience has gotten better. Role queue has, believe it or not, made it a better experience, where to the point where you now get to play with people who've never played tank before, because their DPS queues are 45 minutes, and you're sitting there wondering why the hell you're off tank. It has no idea what they're doing while throwing a Risha shield on the ground 5 feet in front of you, or they're literally just playing Winston. But that's besides the point. Besides the point of role queue in general. Like, role queue definitely isn't a bad thing. The problem with role queue is that literally I have to hit the Sigma button every single time. You're going, Emongg, you used to hit Diva every single time. Yes, but I also can play Zarya and Roadhog effectively and more than likely not be feeding. So, if they can start to look at, like, more of, like, the reason as to why things are broken in general, then I think it came down to this, and I've talked about this before on stream. Guys, okay, chat, I'm gonna quiz you. Why was GOATS overpowered? Go. So people go, some of you said different answers. The reason why GOATS is overpowered was because of supports. Because of supports. And that's what I mean when you look at the reason as to why metas are strong. You have to look at the overall picture, right? The reason why GOATS is overpowered is because of the supports. And a lot of people knew that, especially at the high level. A lot of people thought it was a support. So what did Blizzard do? They nerfed the tanks. They nerfed the tanks because the tanks were the damage dealers. The tanks were the ones that were doing the stuff. But the reason why GOATS wasn't working was because the supports were super strong. everything was super strong within the supports. Like, that was the issue, right? Is that you had too much healing. There was too much. There was just you could sustain your tanks. That's why things were so like ridiculous with goats. AoE healing especially, yeah, no, that's why you ran that comp, right? You had Zenyatta to do the big heals, you had Lucio to be able to do the speed boost and the big heals, and you had Brigitte with natural passive healing. There was a lot of healing going across the board, and whenever shit got wild, you had your Zenyatta. This Zenyatta was needed to burst down targets, right? That was the whole thing with goats. The major problem we run into with all of this stuff is the fact that when Blizzard looked at that, everybody, including yourself, maybe me at times, now who am I kidding? I was playing Diva and off-tank during GOATS. Everybody, basically DPS players who couldn't play DPS, and everybody else who hated GOATS was saying, hey dude, GOATS is fucking strong as shit because of tanks. So Blizzard went, you know what? You're right. You were right. I totally believe everybody else. Let's nerf the tanks. So they started nerfing tanks. In general, one of the biggest issues we had with the game was the fact that every time they make these like really big changes to metas, they're not looking at the strength of why the team comps are working, right? And the thing is like, I know for a fact that down in gold, there's no way people were running GOATs correctly, right? There's no way in hell people were running GOATs. They were running GOATs because they watch high-level players, or they watch Overwatch League, or they keep hearing about this stuff, and they run the team. So like, when they make all these nerfs and these changes to the game, what they're not looking at is why things are working. And I think if there was one advice I'd give them is to look at advice from the high-end players when it comes to making these hardcore changes. Because nowadays, I truly believe they're making these changes due to high-level play. When I see them nerf Sigma and Orisa and then buff Diva and all these other heroes and like buff basically a dive comp, kind of like buff and dive, the problem is that, I mean, not the problem. The thing is, they're doing that for the high-end players. They're making these changes from the top down finally. So like now, when they look at these changes, they need to look at what is the issue. And this all started with somebody saying, "Is Doomfist overpowered?" I don't believe Doomfist is overpowered. It's just the meta. So you have to look as to why a hero is super strong, and then make those changes based off of why a meta is strong. So if shields are an issue, then look at the exact shields. Adding a second cooldown to the shields may not make, like, I don't know if adding 1 second to Orisa shield will make Orisa terrible. I really don't know if I will do that, because it comes down to this question. Are you able to kill a Sigma shield? Are you able to kill an Orisa shield completely in 10 seconds? Are you able to do that? Because if you can't do that, if you buff dive comp, right? You get a Pog and Trap, a Thermos with a 5. Give the sub, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Here's the question. Are you able to kill those shields in that amount of time? Are you able to get both Sigma shield and Orisa shield down in 10 seconds? I don't think so. And if you can, I don't think it's a good timer. Is buffing Tracer gonna change that? I mean, Tracer will be strong, but when they finally realize that shields are the issue, now you have an overpowered Tracer who has less fall-off damage, so it's harder to be able to engage them and make plays off them. For example, like a McCree is going to have a harder time dealing with a Tracer, right? So now what happens is this next patch probably won't fix the overall issue. But the patch after that, we now know is going to be dive comp, because Blizzard's answer was to make Winston have 700 HP and, you know, give Tracer this, like, more fall-off, and give Diva this, give Diva, like, better defense matrix in general. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, then that's a problem, because what we're doing is we're using one patch to make heroes better, and then we're using the next patch to basically go, okay, that's the real issue, fix the issue, but by then you've now created another fucking monster, which is what happened with Orisa and with the introduction of Sigma. The same thing happened with the introduction of all these heroes. So when you overbuff a hero one patch, it doesn't do anything to the next patch. More than likely, we're going to have a third patch where they nerf shields and somehow give Tracer 3 guns and extra damage, because they're trying to overcompensate for the idea that, well, shit, the first patch didn't work. So I'm not saying that maybe dive will be good next meta. Maybe I'm wrong. But historically, when we look at Overwatch, every single time they do these patch changes, they know what they want to do. They're trying to create dive comp. The problem is they're going to create an even bigger monster of a dive comp now. Now what they're doing is they're making Diva and Winston strong again. Tracer now has even less fall-off damage, so she can stay at further distances. Genji is trash. And they have all these heroes that literally are like getting stronger. Like, they're getting stronger and stronger. Which means Genji probably will get buffed next patch. Genji will probably get buffed next patch. And we're back to the same cycle. It's the same repetitive cycle. And we can do that in life too, right? You know, so it's like, how can we break the cycle? How can we let Blizzard know? Let's look at your patches. Let's look at the changes that you've made, right? You're making these changes because you believe that this hero is the reason why the meta is strong, but in reality, it's team-based. It's a team-based game. So making one hero, like, terrible isn't going to solve the overall issue, right? Like, Nerf and Sim, yeah, we may have gotten rid of some Symmetra gameplay, but we still have the overall issue where everybody just plays Doomfist, right? But then now they're nerfing Doomfist. And, okay, but Doomfist is still going to be somewhat strong because you can still right-click in and do... The idea of Doomfist is, like, you just go in and make a play. Like, you just do a stupid play, and then you get out. And yeah, you have less shields now, but it's about the pick potential, right? It's about the pick potential. That's why people play Doomfist. Half the Doomfists in my game are not good Doomfists. It's about the pick potential. It's about them going in to get a pick. All you need to do is hit one good right-click on somebody who literally hits a wall, and it's pretty much over for that player. It's about the pick potential. It's not because his cooldowns are 1 second. It's not, or whatever the hell they were. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not by increasing his cooldowns or increasing his right click, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much to it in general that, like, in my opinion, causes, like, a lot of, like, I guess, issues or, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like there's a lot more to this than, there's a lot more to this in general than, we kind of put it out to be. I don't know. So I think Blizzard hopefully we'll start to realize that, but at the same time, like, I mean, I'm starting to wonder if maybe they're doing a little bit less because they sent some of the development team to work on Overwatch 2. Which could make sense. So, like, maybe, like, they have, like, a timetable on that and stuff like that, or whatever the hell they're making. Keep in mind, this is all rumors, so the rumors that I've literally read is that there's going to be an Overwatch 2, and then there's going to be there's a possibility the game's free to play at some point, but I don't know if any of that's true. It's just like literally like, I think when the article come out, like in June or like May, where there was this article. So I think it was within the same article about Roll Queue. Overwatch 2 with PvE. I've heard the PvE rumor too. So I mean, maybe that's what they're doing. I don't really know. I don't really know what their vision is, but I mean, we all want the game to be good. Like I said, I personally like Overwatch. Doesn't mean I like playing certain metas. Obviously, I mean, I'm gonna give you guys some truth about me. I'm very sarcastic too. So while I may, you know, I have fun with things in game, and I make it an enjoyable experience for people in my games by having fun, right? But not everybody's sarcastic. Not everybody has my type of humor, has my type of personality when it comes to like in-game Overwatch and stuff like that. Not everybody's like that, right? So like when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at it from all sides. I'm not looking at it from just my one biased point of view. We're like, hey, I like Overwatch. I don't give a fuck what they do to it. I want to look at it from like, oh, I can queue up with my Masters SR now, guys. I'm officially Masters. Hell, I'm with XQC now. Perfect. Like, I want to look at it from everybody's point of view, and like, I for somebody who literally, let's just say that you're. Let's just say that's not fired. I mean, XQC literally, it's nothing you can do about it. Like, XQC has had the same issues I've had in ranked. He's literally had the exact same issues I've had in ranked. You just go in there and you just play Sigma, and it's just like Resident fucking Sleeper. XQC is literally a top fucking tank in this game. There's nothing he can do about it though. It's just the way it is. It's literally the way it is. Yeah. I mean, it's just how the game is. Like, it's ridiculous. So I want the game to do better, and I want the game to be good. But from a personality point of view, I just like, I look at it from different. I've seen so many different personalities. I see a passive person, a person who gets angry a lot. Like, there is no way in hell that like this is what I like. Like, imagine this. Like, this is like imagine this. I found a game, but like imagine this. This is like your life. Ugh. Here we go. Oh man. Just finished my 10-hour workday commute. Oh boy. Just finished my 10-hour workday commute. Worked 8 hard, long hours. Hour commute to work. All right, let me sit down and play Overwatch. That sounds like it's gonna make my day better. Oh, I'm playing Orisa. Can I work a double? You get... Can I come back to work? I've already reached my overtime this week? In 3 days? Well,
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
It is not my preference to see tonight.
anyway, so I just don't. I look at it from that point of view with people. Like, when you come back from work or you come back from a long day, is Overwatch a game that you literally want to play right now? And I think the reason why we're seeing like a lack of players and like, you know, drops in viewerships and drops in everything is that it's not like it was a year ago where you could like, it felt like you wanted to play the game. Nowadays, you want to come watch somebody else play and you want to watch their misery because you've already had that misery to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like one of the bigger problems that I see happen with Overwatch now. It's finally hit that fact where like, it used to be you wanted to play. You'd get on, you'd go, like, you'd go on and watch your favorite streamer, and you'd be like, you know what? I want to gift Emongg 300 subs right now. I want to give him 300 subs. It's like, it has to happen. So you whip out, you go, Mom, get the credit card, you give 300 subs. Perfect. All right? And that's what happens. Then you watch me play, and you're like, wow, I want to play Overwatch now. Like, I want to log on, and I want to play Overwatch. And you're like, he makes me want to play Overwatch. Now you watch every streamer and you go, I don't want to ever touch that game. You literally will uninstall it without even opening it because you watch the experience. We had a pog in the chat for Cogsley with the 5 gift the sub rating. Now you want to uninstall it. And you go in Emongg, you sound like a little bitch right now. And I watch you because you don't complain about stuff. The difference between complaining about stuff and talking about this is that there's no difference. Really what's happening here is that I'm just really upset that the game that I love is going downhill even more than ever when they just release something that's so good for the fucking game. When you release something that is so good that can literally bring so many people back, which is roll queue, and then you give us what's in front of us, and then you make a change that probably won't make an overall change, but maybe hopefully it will. It's a problem. It's a problem. So it's like, do we sit back now and being a streamer and being like a voice of reason? And Siegel did this once too, where Siegel was like a voice and like was able to talk about the changes. And remember when Siegel had that really awesome podcast and he talked about like, you know, the state of the game and everything was great. It was fucking amazing. And the results were awesome too. They did absolutely nothing about what he said. I mean, like jokes aside, like I still like Overwatch a lot. And I know it comes across as I'm complaining more and like, you guys don't like that, but like, I just don't like see how I can logically stream nowadays and not like really show you guys that I care about this game. Like the hell? Like playing the game over and over again is great and adds this like really cool value to it, but like I don't think it's a good thing for me to just like ignore the issues either, right? Because I have consistently ignored issues or at least tried to like stay away from that. And like I feel so bad that like it's a consistent thing where people aren't able to enjoy the game that they love every single day. You know? Like you know what I mean? I'm just gonna log on and play some Overwatch right now. Like I'm excited. First of all, there's not gonna be an Overwatch 2. Okay? Now let me explain to you why. Because Blizzard Activision already has one game where they need to have people buy it every single year to be able to play the same exact game but reskinned with like rockets and like a little bit more stuff in the game, and then come out with an open beta that does cross-realm and gets people to play the exact same game. Then 2.5 months later they realize it's the exact same game they've been playing since 2007 with pretty much no changes at all and just basically getting the money for it while also having an exclusive where only one people can play one side of the game. So like in general, I don't see them trying to like release another game. I think if they do another game, it's going to be like a PvE version, and I think that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to have Overwatch 2. It's going to be like the lore and the PvE. But in the end, here's the way I see things, and this is another problem. If the rumor about free-to-play is true, okay, then let's talk about this. I think free-to-play as a content creator is fucking amazing. I will have more viewers. I will have more people subscribing to my YouTube. Everybody around me from a streamer point of view will benefit. I think it's amazing. I will not complain about a free-to-play version of Overwatch. But let's talk about the real deal here. The most successful game in the world right now, or one of the most successful games in the world right now, is a free-to-play game, Fortnite. They added mechs to that game, and not many people gave a shit outside of the competitive community. Now, let me rephrase that. The majority of casual players didn't give a shit. the content creators and their viewers and their subs gave a shit. So my concern is that the mega casual squad with the new free-to-play are going to not really care about any of these issues within Overwatch, and they're going to play the game regardless, and Blizzard's going to reach the numbers they want anyway. They're going to get the transactions they want, and maybe they won't make the changes that is needed for the game consistently. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that is like the most pessimistic way to look at it. So I'm hoping for the opposite of it.